Humans pose as robots at Beijing's Robot Expo. Dim sum restaurant Din Tai Fung to close 14 stores in China. Popular tourist destination earns only 230,000 yuan in 6 months. Taiwanese anthem played at Shanxi school event, netizens shocked. A bank president's resignation sparks speculation. On August 25th, Beijing hosted the World Robot Conference, and one of the exhibitors claimed to have made a robot that looked just like a real human. But something funny happened. A person who shared a video from the event said that the most confusing thing of 2024 just took place. This company actually hired real-life models, dressed them up in robot-like outfits, and had them perform robot moves in front of the audience. However, the real robots were in the back, secured in place, and only demonstrating limited movements. The person who posted the video said that the real models even had assistants by their side, touching up their makeup, wiping their sweat, and cooling them down with fans. During a break, the models were even seen eating boxed lunches backstage. What's more surprising is that it wasn't clear if the company informed the audience or if they just let people believe the models were real robots. This led many audience members to come up and touch the models all over, while exclaiming how real they felt. The models didn't look too happy about being touched and were probably feeling a mix of emotions. After seeing the video, some viewers commented, "Are these people dumb? They're treating the robot conference like a cosplay event. They may not have the ability to build robots, but they sure know how to cosplay as robots. Don't leak this video to foreign websites." They're really carrying on with this weird tradition of making serious things seem like a joke and making jokes seem serious. And, is this for real? This country is truly something else. If this company really managed to make human-like robots, why did they need to send real models to perform? This strange scene just goes to show that in China, anything can be faked. And some unsuspecting people join in the fun, possibly thinking to themselves that they are far ahead once again. The internationally renowned Taiwanese restaurant brand Din Tai Fung, which has been in the Chinese market for nearly 20 years, announced on August 26th that by the end of October, it will gradually close its 14 stores in northern China, including Beijing and Tianjin. The main reason for these closures is disagreements among the board of directors, with some board members not optimistic about the future of the restaurant industry in China. Din Tai Fung, in collaboration with the Dazhong Group, established Beijing Hung Tai Fung Catering Company Limited in 2004 to operate the Din Tai Fung brand in northern China and Xiamen. Additionally, Din Tai Fung partnered with another company to operate its brand in eastern China. The closures will primarily affect the stores in northern China, while operations in eastern and southern China will remain unaffected. Beijing Hung Tai Fung Catering's general manager, Yang Bingkun, explained that Din Tai Fung has been in Beijing for 20 years, and its business license expired on August 3rd. According to the relevant regulations, all 5 directors of the company must agree to renew the business license. However, one of the directors was not optimistic about the overall environment of China's restaurant industry and refused to agree to the renewal. Without consensus across the board, the company had no choice but to dissolve. All 5 directors are Taiwanese. Yang Bingkun pointed out that while the closure of the northern stores is partly due to disagreements within the board, the overall situation of the restaurant industry in China has indeed been poor since the pandemic, with many businesses losing money. He also mentioned that the Din Tai Fung brand is highly regarded in China, with foreign customers making up 20% to 30% of its clientele. However, since the pandemic, the number of foreign customers has not recovered to previous levels. According to a recent report by the restaurant industry media platform Canguanju, the Chinese restaurant industry is suffering from a massive downturn. The report cited data showing that more than 1 million restaurants closed in the first half of this year, almost matching the total number of closures for the entire year last year, and double the number in 2022. Countless restaurant operators have lost their entire investments and have been forced to quietly exit the market. The goal for everyone in the restaurant industry now is simply to survive. It's not just small restaurant brands struggling. Large chains are also having a tough time. The tea brand Nai Xue is expected to lose between 420 million to 490 million yuan. The hot pot chain Shabu Shabu at least 260 million yuan, and profits at coffee giant Luckin Coffee have dropped by 50% compared to the same period last year. The report summarized the financial statements of major listed restaurant chains, highlighting that, aside from a few exceptions like Domino's China, Quanzhude, and Yum China, most large restaurant chains have experienced declining profits. The situation is described as extremely grim. For example, Shabu Shabu reported an estimated revenue of about 2.4 billion yuan for the first 6 months of this year, a decrease of 15.9% year-on-year. Its net loss was between 260 million and 280 million yuan, a stark contrast to the net profit of 2.12 million yuan during the same period last year, marking a dramatic decline of nearly 133 times. The report stated that the ongoing price wars have squeezed profits, and as weaker brands and stores are forced out, large restaurant chains have had to close stores to cut their losses. These factors have combined to cause a dismal performance for listed restaurant chains in the first half of the year. The report also quoted analysts saying that taxes, social insurance, and wages are all rising, while prices are falling and profits are shrinking. What should have been the peak season hasn't delivered, contributing to the restaurant industry's struggles. It concluded by noting that with the continuation of price wars, China's restaurant industry has now entered an era of minimal profits. As some industry insiders have predicted, the peak of these price wars is still far off, and the road ahead could be even tougher. The popular tourist attraction Datong Everbright City in Xi'an, Shanxi province, which became a hotspot thanks to live streaming, has often been overcrowded with visitors. However, a recently released financial report by its operating company has shocked many. In the first half of this year, Datong Everbright City generated a revenue of 39.28 million yuan, but its net profit was only 225,300 yuan. Even more surprising, the parent company of Datong Everbright City, Chujiang Cultural Tourism, reported a staggering loss of 187 million yuan, a more than 15-fold increase in losses compared to the same period last year. Chujiang Cultural Tourism is a large local tourism company in Xi'an, managing several well-known tourist spots. By the end of the first half of the year, the company had total liabilities of 2.7 billion yuan, and its debt-to-asset ratio has continued to climb over the past 3 years, rising from 68% in mid-2022 to the current 80%. To address its debt problems, Chujiang Cultural Tourism has repeatedly sold off core assets this year, including shares in the Xi'an Shanhe Scenic Area, Tangyi Company, and the Daming Palace Ruins Park Company, in an attempt to accelerate cash flow and rescue itself. The fact that such a highly popular tourist attraction has seen such a severe drop in revenue has left many people puzzled. How could Datong Everbright City, which was so popular last year, fail to generate even the profits of a single shop? A quick search online reveals that Datong Everbright City has 261 shops and 12 hotels. Assuming each shop occupies an average of 100 square meters and pays 500 yuan in rent each month, the annual rental income should be around 156 million yuan. This doesn't even account for hotel rental income. Based on this logic, it seems unlikely that a 650,000 square meter property would fail to generate billions in rental income. Therefore, some speculate that the revenue mentioned by Chujiang Cultural Tourism is not from rental income, but rather management fees. However, some netizens have pointed out that even if it were management fees, earning only 230,000 yuan is still highly unusual. As a company focused on asset-light operations, all of its income comes from management commissions. The core issue is that it can no longer collect its commissions. Netizens further analyzed that in the early stages of Chujiang Cultural Tourism's listing, its management fees were actually quite high. For example, the annual management fee for the 30,000 square meter Daming Palace ruins was 128.1 million yuan. But now the problem is that local governments have very little money left in their pockets. So the issue isn't that Datong Everbright City isn't profitable, but rather that the property owners simply don't have the funds to pay the commissions. What's more alarming is that Datang Everbright City's meager earnings of 235,300 yuan in 6 months have become a normal phenomenon across the country. For example, the popular tourist destination Zhangjiajie, loved by both domestic and international visitors, is expected to report a net loss of 58 to 63 million yuan for the first half of the year. Guilin Tourism disclosed that it expects a net loss of around 20 million yuan, while Yunnan Tourism forecasts losses between 40 and 60 million yuan, despite receiving nearly 100 million tourists per month without an off-season. Although these popular Chinese cities and attractions are seeing heavy foot traffic, the core issue is that the local economies can no longer support them. Since 1984, Taiwan has been under pressure from the CCP and has only been allowed to play its national flag anthem as the Olympic Committee anthem when participating in the Olympics, while raising the Olympic Committee flag instead of its national flag. Recently, a video went viral on Chinese social media platforms like Douyin and Bilibili, showing a primary school in Shanxi province playing Taiwan's Olympic Committee anthem during a sports event, causing a stir among netizens who exclaimed, "This is serious." The video captured a flag-raising segment from the opening ceremony of the 2024 Jingzhou Middle and Primary School Athletics Championship held on the evening of August 6 in Jinyang County, Shanxi Province. The event was overseen by Jingzhou's Deputy Mayor Liang Yanping, with key officials such as Vice Secretary and Mayor Liu Xing, Vice Chairman of the Political Consultative Conference Zhang Xuedong, and Education Bureau Director Deng Jijie also in attendance. When Liang Yanping announced the raising of the event flag during the opening ceremony, the background music that played was unexpectedly Taiwan's Olympic Committee anthem, featuring the melody of Taiwan's national flag anthem with the lyrics, "Blue sky, white sun, and a holy red earth." Remarkably, no one noticed the mistake, and the entire event was broadcast live. The video caused an uproar on Chinese social media, sparking various speculations. Some Chinese netizens jokingly asked, "Have they defected?" And "Looks like some officials are going to be remembered." Others speculated that the Jingzhou city government was trying to appear more international and mistakenly believed that Taiwan's Olympic Committee anthem was China's anthem, leading to this major blunder being broadcast live. The opening ceremony of the sports event was extravagant, with netizens commenting that it resembled the scale of the Olympics. However, the confusion arose when an unrelated event ended up playing Olympic music, causing this embarrassing mishap. Some mocked that this was a result of Chinese officials trying too hard to put on a facade of stability. On the other hand, Taiwanese netizens shared the video on Facebook, finding the situation hilarious. Comments flooded in, such as, "It's over, this is serious," "Someone's in trouble," "Maybe the principal is an undercover agent," "Are we mysteriously taking back the mainland?" "So, the Republic of China has unified China?" And "I never thought I'd hear our national flag anthem played in a communist region in my lifetime. Xi Jinping better watch out." On August 25th, the Bank of China issued an announcement stating that Mr. Liu Jing had resigned from his positions as Vice Chairman, Executive Director, Member of the Board of Directors Strategy and Development Committee, and President of the bank, effective immediately. He cited personal reasons. Chairman Ge Haijiao will temporarily take over the duties of the president. This news sent shockwaves through the banking industry, especially given the Chinese government's intensifying crackdown on corruption in the financial sector. Liu Jin's sudden resignation at the age of 57 has sparked speculation. A report from the paper on the same day mentioned that the Bank of China had held its 7th board meeting of the year in Beijing on the 19th, but Liu Jing did not attend due to other commitments. Since the announcement did not specify the personal reasons behind Liu Jing's resignation, nor did it express any gratitude for his past contributions, it has drawn attention. Some analysts believe that this indicates that a banking crisis in China may be looming. It is worth noting that Liu Jing's former partner, the chairman of the Bank of China, Liu Liange, was ousted on March 31, 2023, and accused of accepting bribes totaling over 121 million yuan. However, according to a report by Phoenix Finance, insiders revealed that Liu Jing has not been taken down, but has instead been demoted to the rank of Deputy Department Head, whereas the president of the Bank of China is usually at the vice ministerial level. The insider declined to elaborate on the reasons for Liu Jing's significant demotion. Independent commentator Jiang Shenzhe suggested that if Liu Jing were being investigated by the Chinese Communist Party's Central Commission for Discipline Inspection, it wouldn't be such a big deal. It would simply mean that he was involved in corruption or internal factional struggles. However, Jiang pointed out that Liu Jing resigned on his own, and even after stepping down, he is still referred to as Mr. Liu Jing, which suggests something significant has occurred at the Bank of China. Jiang explained that the CCP does not allow party members to resign. Party members are expected to follow orders, and if the party assigns you as the president of the Bank of China, you are not allowed to resign. Resignation could be seen as defiance of the party's orders, or even as an act against the party. Thus, high-ranking CCP officials do not voluntarily resign. They typically become scapegoats, taking the blame for the party. In this case, it appears that something serious has gone wrong in the banking system, and Liu Jin has been made the scapegoat. Jiang further speculated that while the details of the issue at the Bank of China remain unclear, the situation is likely to become public soon, as it is too significant to hide. Jiang suggested that a potential explosion of bad debts could be the cause behind Liu Jing's resignation. Last month, Kyle Bass, the founder of the U.S. hedge fund Heyman Capital, stated on social media that China's banking system is collapsing. He explained that over 30% of the bank's assets are tied to the real estate industry, which has now shrunk by 30% to 50%, causing the entire banking system in China to become insolvent. The Chinese banking sector has indeed fallen into a crisis. In just 1 week in June, as many as 40 small and medium-sized banks disappeared, merged into larger banks. The Economist noted that even during the worst of the subprime mortgage crisis, U.S. lending institutions didn't vanish as quickly. The level of non-performing loans in China's banking system has risen to the point where it threatens social stability, which is a top concern for Xi Jinping. However, merging small banks into larger ones does not solve the problem. It only creates even larger, troubled banks. Commentator Wang He recently wrote that financial anti-corruption efforts have intensified in recent years because the Chinese authorities are well aware of the internal crisis within the country's banking system. This is why the government keeps emphasizing the need to firmly prevent systemic risks. However, Wang argues that the authorities are focusing on the wrong issue. While small and medium-sized banks have a higher risk of crisis, their potential damage is relatively limited. The real threat to China's financial system comes not from small banks, but from the large banks, including the 6 major state-owned banks. Under the Chinese Communist Party's rule, these large banks are not too big to fail, but rather have become too big to save.